attendant console ده مين ده NCR console. Even in the manual attendant console ده NCR console. But you can decide to have D term as a operator position. Yes. With
any model, right?
any model. But you have to think what I need in this operator.
Yes, yeah.
I can say yes, it's possible with 6 digital this is terminal. But is it acceptable for the operator to use a limited number of keys? You have to think about today, tomorrow, and 20 years.
Khaled, are we talking about the SN716?
Yes. 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 And we have also in Japan, the people who was using attendant console was selected based on their culture from high level of education people. They don't assign anyone in an operator position who's not really well educated. Even there was a kind of public cert that the doctor of the university, they have to go and do attendant console job in some offices, some hospital. It was part of their culture. Once in Japan start to work in Europe, they find different idea. That, for example, I give you an example of Italy. All the attendant console in Italy are disabled people or blind people. So they add a braille panel for this attendant console. So in simple, SN 716 and 720 are the same. But one of them are able to have a braille panel for the people who are really blind. Everywhere in Europe, all the attendant console people are really yeah. ASPA-N is mainly used to decide what kind of service I'm going to use here. And again, I kept this presentation to remember you how we was working in the old days. Yeah. Here I have my tenant, my access code 9, and which kind of normal booking I'm busy, and we have to ask the manual again, which kind I really require for this. I'm using LCR or LCRS. There's LCR and LCRS. LCRS is mainly used for overlap sending. Normally, in most of the scenario, 99% of the scenario, we only use LCR. Unless the carrier is saying for me, please use LCRS. Yeah. Also, do I need a dummy route or a physical route here? Dummy. Because dummy is able to do flexible routing. Not because it's dummy, because it's able to do flexible routing. I decided that this guy who dial 0 will go for the one who will decide to do flexible route. Clear? Okay. Do I need a second dial tone? When I need a second dial tone? If I'm going to be STN. But if I'm connected in an E&M network, or I'm connected to CCIS network, or a QSIG network, I don't really need. Why should I have a dial tone for dialing access code for an area 8xxxxx? I need that just to feel that I'm connected to Abdullah system back to back over E1, even he's an author guy, but I'm connected to him like we are the system. Yes. Authorization code is a nice feature which called authorization code or access code or account code, or I will simplify it, walking class of service. That means I can use any phone to dial my numbers, and I have a kind of authorization code. I'm authorized, and the record will come to my name as Khalid that I'm using this authorization code. By default, we keep it 0 because normally most of military and oil and gas field, they would like to dial a code, then which is allowed to enter authorization code, then the authorization code, then they dial 9 and continue the code. In hospitality project, for example, in a hotel, you're allowed to dial 905 or 9079. After you finish the dial, the system will ask you, give me your authorization code. You are not allowed to make any code without authorization code. But in military, they normally dial the authorization code before they dial the number.
After you finish the dialing, not
There
from
is
the beginning.
two methods. You decide which one you like. But if you enable here, that means every call will ask for authorization code. Yeah. Also, sub-addressing is not really used, so keep it out of service. Here, MDN is command to decide maximum number of digits that you will dial, maximum necessary digit of I dial 905. Is it a digit including the access code? Don't forget, including the access code.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Code plus the number, right?
Yes, not like 93, not like IBS. Because here we are really digging each and every digit. And later on, You will understand once we add the PNL numbering why we don't remove that. Why we don't remove the access code? Because we are able to manipulate this access code. In the most of the networkable system, you don't need to put your access code. And you just decided based on the number you dial, not the access code. But here in the system, it's really flexible up to one. It can drill down your leading digit and convert it to a completely different number. But here, you decided the DC. For example, if I have a 905, 907, so I have to say all the number of start with 07 have the same length, that's fine. No need to add 079, 077 or 078. It's enough to add the leading digit. Some people say, yeah, I need for a specific application a specific drill down. You can do it. But basically try to make it simple. This is, for example, a national code, and here maximum number of digit. This also trigger between AMBDN will keep the digit until the minimum number of digits decide, then it will push to dummy root will do a flexible routing, and the flexible routing will start to think carefully based on the flexible routing based on this command. That means AMBDN, I'm just walk a step. In flexible root, I'm barked. After AMBDN finish, AMBDN method, I move. So I start to feel free in which route I will go. Clear?
Excuse me. Does it have any effect on tower restriction?
Yes.
Means that if the user should dial minimum 8 digits, then the tower restriction will.
It's the other way around. Simply, there was something that we named it in the old days, tool codes. But we don't use it, we only use the local code. That means I don't need to wait till the 8 digits finish to make a restriction. I don't need to wait because the simple rule in 95, everything is restricted. That means if I dial 905 and 905 is not in my allowance table, immediately it will not wait for the 8 digit. In the old days we have a tool code that everything is open, that we add a tool code. It's not logical for this kind of network. So you have to have everything restricted, then you allow what you like.
Now, I mean a different scenario. For example, when user try to dial a mobile user,
Okay.
but he cannot do it. Okay. He, for example, he dial 0 access code and dial the mobile number.
Yeah.
Then it should wait for these digits. The system will wait for these digits. After the digits reached, the system can decide that this user is allowed to dial a mobile cell phone.
Yes, it could be in this way and it could be the other way around. I mean, if I dial 909, that means access code, and then I dial the leading digit of this number, it will decide it restricted or not. Plus, there is another system option, like if I dial, for example, 9, then 0566999, blah, blah, the complete number, and I miss to add a digit, or I add more digits. I'm still barred here and decided to go where I want to go, but I receive more than the required digit or less than the required digit. The system normal behavior to restrict this code. Unless there's a ASYD index, decide that please wait till he end whatever he dialed, then push the guy wherever he like. I don't like this method because it will make a kind of threat that you dial 056499371. I missed the last digit. Then if I pushed out, the carrier will reply to me the wrong number. So no need to wait to this moment. We have to be very, very, very careful when filling this table in the right information. People said, yeah, it's difficult. No, you will do it once in all of your 95 installation. Once. It's not related for root. It's related only for your tenant. That means with a single tenant design, you make it once for all of your 95 installation, for all account of access code. As I said, we really don't use a tool code nowadays. And here we can drill down the number of digits, like 000 can be 24. 00x1234 is 11 digits. You have to be very careful in creating this table. What maximum number of digits if I dial orange? What the maximum number of digits if I dial Orido? This maximum number of digits if I dial STC or Zain or local carrier. For example, I'll give you an example in Oman. In Oman, they don't have access codes. All the countries serve from 1 to 9 and that's it, even the mobile number. Zero, code 0 is not used. So for them it's very simple. And all local calls, national calls, mobile calls is 8 digits. Everywhere. But in some countries, because we have to be very careful about the maximum number of digits that you fit. Till now we are talking about digits. We don't know where to route. The only thing that we decided in this assignment that we said in ASBA-in, please enable your flexible routing. I'm ready to route my code. Then we go for command code AFRSN. As I said in the training, previous training, AFRSN and OBRN was part to be one command. And still, it looks like one command, but the flexibility in AFRSN is also inherited or added to AOBR. In OBR, you can make a kind of a routing button. If you remember 93, you can have a route and route button and the CR button and blah blah. It's very easy. It's more flexible that you can, based on your dial digit, you can go for this routing button. And the routing button have all the intelligence. You can make a timetable, you can make a MAID, you can make anything. But simply, if I have dial 92, I can decide to which routing table I'm going to do analysis and intelligence. Because I come from the dummy route which allow me to do flexible routing, and here I say, my flexible route will say, go for this table and find your analysis there. And here, after that, the job of dummy route or flexible route, not required anymore. It just do the job of flexible routing the digit. From this table, you decide which time pattern you like. In the old days, for example, Zain and Orido and STC in the same country. And Zain is giving an offer for peak hours with a very low rate. So I have to make a timetable for this hours that where Zain give me a good rate for mobile. Orido doing the same for the next 2 hours. Orange doing our STC giving me a low rate for this hour. So I can make an analysis based on the timetable for up to 8 states. Nowadays it's not really used. It's really used for a kind of military links. They have a kind of temporary transmission. But they have during the day a transmission node A, which is really handling all the microwave signaling. And after the day, they just place this off and start the other one. Also in oil and gas, you have rigs, this offshore rigs in the middle of the sea. And one day they decide, okay, we finish this area, just move to other area. So they have to be careful about the time pattern in this kind of solution. Again, the OBR number the same that we set in the AFRSN. The same what we set in AFRSN, based on the dial number which come from the dummy route. And here we decide route advance. Route advance means if I have multiple routes for the same number, for the same destination. I want to call Abdullah and I have 3 concurrent routes connecting me to Abdullah. So I have to decide. My first priority is SIM. My second priority is CIS. My third priority is ISDN. In route advance, you will decide the order of the route. And once you decide the order for route, I am allowed to overflow to other route or not. If I set 0, that means this is my last route. In simple scenario, it's my first selection all the time. For the advanced routing option, we'll talk about it. Also talk about the alternative routing in the last day. Then I decide which physical route or which logical route I'm going to use, which I assign in the ARTDM. Then I have to skip or keep my access code. Some people, it's really required. Yes. Next step is BNL numbering. BNL numbering is a digit addition module. I will give you a nice example. We have 3 nodes, A, B, C. Without any separation, I want the people who call from this node, through this node to this node, to select a very specific route. In the major node, node number 1, I have 3 routes. This system can call from this route. So I have to create a single access code for each and every route. And from here, they will dial 9. Through the network, I will remove the dial digit 9. And I will create a specific access code which can able to touch this route only. The other system will have again 9. So again, I will skip the 9 and then create the other access code that can access the other route. It's like a kind of add remove concept which really required for the tandem network. That means you have a QSIG network, then you have a CCIS over E1 network, then you have a SIP network. So you have to think about the overall story. I cannot control the CCIS connected, the QSIG connected system. I don't know, maybe it's not an EC. So I have to ask them to send me the digital UI and I will do implementation later. Here. And also here, you can add and remove 4 digits for the indexes from 1 to 27. It's a fixed number. And 28 to 999, you can add, remove 24 digits. That means, if Abdullah dial my number, I remove completely my number and I go to Sam. I can do. I want the people to dial, for example, security guard, which is 911, is dialing 911 only. So I will remove complete 911 and I will put the police hotline for us, like 081111. I don't want the people to know this number. For them, 911 is the emergency number. There is also in the manual emergency description, because emergency and security is very hot subject nowadays. So think about it, maybe you will need BNN number. In simple rule, in most of the hot installation we don't use it. Once you have a real network, you will really use it. Then, do you like to have here overflow tool? That means if I have ISDN and unfortunately this ISDN down, and my code overflow to SIP trunk. So do you need to give a user indication that they are already have a route down so they can call the maintenance department and tell them, sorry, your SIP, your ISDN network is down, please come and fix it.
I guess this should be.
Some people say we don't like it. It's also depend on the customer requirement. It's an option, yes sir.
It is related also to the RA.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you have.
Yes, if you have RA. There's also priority restriction. We stop use it because priority restriction is really related for attendant also. And if you have a CCIS network, you have to assign its IP trunk. People said in the manual it's a little bit not descriptive. IP trunk is SIP trunk or what else? SIP trunk is SIP trunk. IP trunk means CCIS. So wherever you find in the manual IP trunk, that means CCIS.
Okay.
SIP trunk is MGSIP.
Okay.
So IP trunk means CCIS only. And based on that, you have a point code, system identifier for the CCIS network in the IP trunks telling who are you. That's why in the system we decided after you route the table to CCIS over IP route, if I am connected to the CCIS network, I'm connected to 93, I'm connected to 91, I'm connected to 83, I'm connected to SV7000. I route all the call in a kind of cloud called CCIS over IP, in which destination I have to decide based on the point code to each and every one I will route the call. Later for CCIS we'll discuss based on the IP address how to match. But basically from routing point of view, I have to decide which point code I'm going to talk with. Again, ARRTN is very important and you have to do nabbing, otherwise nothing will work. ARMBN, this command is used to assign individual route according to ARTD. If as per in service RCR, this command required. One access code can be used by multiple routes. For example, if all the time my access code is 9, I can set all of my route to 9, including my dummy route. And this ARMBN or this ARMBN data can really affect the system operation. Simply, if you don't assign it, you will not have SMBR. And also, your tool restriction will not work. And simply the call will not go out because the root don't know what is my access code, which access code I'm going to use. Because if you remember the complete numbering, we don't mention for the root which access code the root will go to use. We just mention name, dummy root, and routing table, but we don't mention for the root itself you are identified by this access code. This is the only time that you are going to assign. I'll talk in the restriction time why Tor restriction will not work if you don't assign ARM. Why? ARRCM, root restriction. In the beginning, as I said, always in the training, allow everything. After that, you have to decide. Are you allowed to have a timing connection? Let's say I have SIP root and I have SDR root. I am allowed to have an incoming call here. And I'm allowed also to have an incoming call here. I'm allowed to outgoing here and outgoing here. But my boss said, I don't like to have an incoming call from here, which passes through my system and go outside. Is it allowed or not? Some people say, yeah, it's fine. It's not, I'm not paying anything. The guy who called from the mobile, he will pay. But you have to decide, is it allowed or not?
Does that has anything with the Tor fraud?
Yes, also. But let's say in the old days, the Tor fraud was not there. Because it was simply someone called the DID number or COD number, and all the call landed to the attendant console, and the attendant console doing the job. Or they'll access code from the station. Again, I have to decide if it's allowed or not allowed. In a simple rule, open everything, including the dummy root, because it's the one who doing the flexible routing for us. So I receive a digit in my dummy root or my flexible root, and I send it to the outgoing to the real root, or I will receive an incoming call from real root, I will send it to the dummy root. Dummy root is now intelligence, doing a flexible routing between two systems or between two roots. So I have to allow for my dummy root all of my physical root. Let's have a break for 10 minutes. Any question till now? Is it clear how to understand the basic call characteristics and also the routing tables plus the dummy root capabilities? Because the next subject will be very important, which is the toll restriction or the toll denial. Yeah. Here's the sweets and the milk and tea. Can I try anything?
برد شوي.
بتحطوا اياه هنا.
ليش التريننج
صارت معي صنعت صنعت
حبيبي ربيك الله يسلمك كيف الامور؟
كيف معك ابو شريف؟
والله الحمد لله الله عليكم
صديقي يا
والله
You can go to this hospital.
من وين بتعرفوا؟
بدك
عن ابو زياد
البوس
البوس
كان جيني على طول يعني بالعمل
What is him or the same Iranian?
No, he's using
شو كاد السيطرة الاتصالات
اوكي
شنو معنا؟
كثير كنا
yes.
وكيف رحت بي تي سي؟ كيف صار؟